Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, True Crime Stories. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button and subscribe so you can hear more. Thanks for stopping by. A West Virginia college student leaves his apartment to pick up his last paycheck, and he's never seen again. His car would be found at a major airport over an hour away. This was the last sign of him. No one has ever seen him alive again. What happened to Stephen Wayne Burry? 40 years without any answers as to what happened to a 22-year-old Fairmont State College student who went missing. Stephen Burry was starting his senior year in 1986. He was a member of the TKE fraternity and the senior senator in his student government. July the 24th, 1986 would be the last time anyone would remember seeing him alive. Sergeant Brian Stewart with the Fairmont Police Department, who was investigating this, said that Burry left his apartment on Fenimore Street, right across from the college campus, at about 2 p.m. Later that day, his 1983 Chevy Chevette was found in the parking lot at the Pittsburgh Airport. Now, the car was found parked at the Pittsburgh Airport, but there's no information as to whether or not Stephen himself drove the car there or if he got on a plane. I don't know, this would have been 1986. I don't know what records they would have kept, if any at all, if people would just walk in and buy a plane ticket, if there would have been any records of that. There have been suspects in the case, but no arrests have ever been made in connection with his disappearance. Something happened to him prior to him leaving his house or shortly after he left his house. Stewart said they did not have any proof of what might have happened to Burry. They're hoping that by opening the case or keeping it open, keeping it in the news, keeping it out there, that someone will remember something or someone will come forward. Now, he would be 62 years old today. He was 22 when he went missing. He was around 6 feet tall and about 165 pounds. He was a white male. The last date of contact was July 24th, 1986, in Fairmont, West Virginia, in Marion County. What I would like to find is someone who knew him, one of his fraternity brothers or a family member, or someone who maybe had contact with him in the days, 2 or 3 days or weeks leading up to his disappearance. Where was he working? They said he went to pick up his last paycheck and he never returned, and no one ever saw him again. Did he pick up that paycheck? Where was this job at? Stephen was a senior at Fairmont State College. He was actively involved in campus life, serving as the senior senator in the student government. He was well known around the campus and thought to be well liked. He was dedicated to his studies and being involved in events going on at the college. On the day of his disappearance, he left his apartment at about 2 p.m. The car was found later the same day. He never returned from picking up this paycheck. And once again, I asked the question, did he pick up the paycheck? Absence was immediately concerning to those who knew him. I don't know if he had roommates. He was part of this fraternity. Did he live at the fraternity house? Like I said, it was in July, was school in session at that point, and were people there at the campus living, or did he have his own private apartment? Stephen's car was found 100 miles away in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at the Pittsburgh Airport. But there was no evidence that Stephen had gotten on a flight, and it's unclear how his car ended up at the airport. Despite extensive investigations and public appeals, no confirmed sightings or contact has ever been made with Stephen since he disappeared. His case remains unsolved. Now, authorities say they do suspect foul play, and they do have a few persons of interest, but no charges have ever been filed. If anyone has any information, they can contact the Fairmont City Police Department at 304-366-4200. Stephen's case is still open. I'm looking for anything where any family members or fraternity brothers or people he worked with or his employer or anyone spoke about his disappearance. If anyone who was the last person to see him that day. Because if he picked up his paycheck, was this a case of him being robbed? Did he cash this paycheck at a local bank or store of some kind? And could that have been what happened to him? You would think that if that was the case and he was mugged and someone did something to him, such as kill him for his money, that his remains would have been found eventually. The fact that his car was abandoned at the airport, unless he had said to someone before, I'm planning on a trip, I'm going to pick up my paycheck, had he packed a bag? No mention of anything like that has been mentioned in any of the links that I've read. So I don't think that was actually the case. His car was found, and that was the end of it. There's no mention of any family members or friends or co-workers or his employer or anyone else saying. It just says here that they described the last name of an apparently very well-known suspect who was a very good friend of the victim, meaning Stephen Burry. By Googling the name with Fairmont, West Virginia, you can easily find the full name of the guy, but I won't post it here because it is just gossip. So the link no longer works, so I have no idea who that person is. And I'm looking on Unresolved Mysteries on Reddit, and people are just saying there was a well-known suspect. Who was the suspect? What was the reason that he would have targeted Stephen? Did it have something to do with this fraternity? Were they battling each other for some other ranking at the school? I click on a lot of different links in these stories, and a lot of times my intention is to look at the comments, because a lot of times you'll find comments from people who are local, people who know this person, or maybe even a relative. I have reached out in some of my stories to some relatives. I've had some positive connections and feedback, and then I've had a couple of negative ones. But I want anyone out there to know, I had one woman really chew me out saying that I was trying to make money off of someone's tragedy, and I said, first of all, I'm not monetized. I'm not making any money. And secondly, I'm trying to share these stories, even though there are some that are really shared, many videos. my most recent video that I did about these women. It's Don Olenek and these other victims, this Linda and Marie, and this other woman who was a victim of this same man. I found one tiny link to her story, and it was about 2 minute, 3 minute long video on YouTube where it was just talking about her remains having been found. So a lot of these stories don't have, they're not shared all over. A lot of them are, but I share them as well because maybe somebody out there will hear it who hasn't ever heard of it. Maybe someone out there will hear it who knows something and will reach out to one of these phone numbers that are mentioned. It allows the public a chance to revisit the case and hopefully jog somebody's memory. Somebody may come forward with information after enough time has passed. I watched a video a while back on the ID network about a shooting that took place in Lexington, Kentucky, that was very similar to this story. It was a person who was a college student, well liked, well known, a member of the football team, a member of the fraternity, just someone who was really well known and well liked. And it took 20 or 30 years before the police were able to get a name of the person that killed this person. And the reason why, it all came down to politics of the college. It all came down to this fraternity. So is that something that's happened here? Did they investigate these members of this fraternity? Like I said in the other story, it involved a guy who had kind of been blackballed, who was being removed from the fraternity for wrongdoing. And could this have been something that Stephen was aware of, something going on, and someone wanted to silence him? I'm hoping to connect with anyone who knew or remembers Stephen Wayne Burry, who disappeared from Fairmont State College in 1986. So as of right now, this was all that I was able to find out about Stephen, and I appreciate everyone for taking the time to listen. As this video comes to an end, I would just like to remind everybody to please like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.